All right, with Tom Brady having a lot of success and Bill Belichick not having that much success, where he was able to plug in Matt Castle once upon a time, Ryan Mallett, who else you have? Brian Hoyer, Jimmy Garoppolo, Jacoby Brissett, and have success. Now people starting to see that Tom Brady might have been the system, but the Tom Brady success in Tampa Bay and Bill Belichick's not being successful in New England and his assistants not being successful across across the country collegiately, whatever, if that's a word, and not being successful in the pros just shows that Tom Brady is more valuable to the Patriot franchise than Bill Belichick. So let's get to it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. Appreciate the love, support, man. And we'll be live today, probably a lot later, unfortunately. Maybe I'm not going live for the fight no more. That's how I got popped. But we just chop it up a little bit later. So hopefully you guys be able to swing through and support first live stream in 3 months, 90 days to be exact. But 91 since they didn't free me until early this morning. But, I think, it also indicts not only the coaches and Bill Belichick, but it indicts his inability to examine talent. A lot of people didn't think about that. Bill Belichick got some of the worst drafts you can find. Real talk, Bill Belichick drafts are atrocious, and I just think Tom Brady exposed that system in more than one way. It exposed their coaches. It exposed Bill Belichick's, as a coach and him as a talent evaluator. You look at that talent, they more of a place that, pick up guys that don't work out somewhere. And then when they do draft guys or get guys like Richard Seymour and guys that get overpriced, they get rid of them, And that's probably why that system never replicated anywhere, front office or coaching. You just look. I remember one year they took Marcus Easley from Florida in the first round. He didn't do nothing. Remember they took, what was his name, Malcolm Brown from Texas. He didn't do nothing. And who else they had over the course of their years? Look at the guys they bring in. Devin McCourty's a draft pick. Patrick Chung was drafted but then came back. They just don't do well with early picks. They don't do well at all. Kyle Van Noy, who was over there, he came from Detroit Pistons. Check out my Detroit channel, want to see Sports Talk. I just think Brady exposed him more than one way. And for years, people would say that, well, if it wasn't for Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, and they undersold Brady. They undersold him. In actuality, Tom Brady was able to cover up a lot of stuff. Just the threat of him throwing the ball short, and then also when he had a deep threat with Randy Moss, that opened up the run game. So when they thought Tom Brady was going to throw, and you had mystery downs, so let's say you get a nice chunk, on first down, you 8, 3rd and 2, you get 8 yards, 3rd and 2, 2nd and 2, you can do whatever you want. And with Tom Brady, it was a lot of mystery rounds because on 3rd and 4 and 3rd and 5, they might run the ball. Without Tom Brady, that wasn't so successful. And I think Tom Brady's ability to be punctual and be accurate, Cam Newton couldn't replicate that. Cam Newton always throw high, so he need taller receivers. If they get a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo back over there, which I think they will, I think he'd be more successful in that system than Cam because he can be accurate, he can be punctual, a little bit better than Cam was. But I'm telling y'all, Brady leaving there and seeing what they looking like now, Bill Belichick, he didn't win nothing before Brady got in there with Drew Bledsoe. He didn't win nothing in Cleveland. He won as a coordinator with the New York Jets. So, look at him. Look at the talent on their team. Tony Michel flaked out. James White has been a good, person for you. Can you name their offensive line? Anytime a player get worth some money, they get rid of him. Nate Soldier. Can you name their line? They got that guard or tackle from Georgia a couple years ago. He been injured. The early part of his career. Who they got? Defensively, they got some players over there in the secondary. They believe in building from the back to the front. But I just think Tom Brady covered up a lot of stuff. And look at the coaches. They go other places and be clueless or don't know how to talk to people and know how to, build their own system. Matt Patricia, Josh McDaniels, Bill O'Brien, Charlie Weiss, Romeo Crennel. If anything, they're going to be successful as coordinators more than head coaches. They are not a leader of men. And the thing that Bill Belichick built there, you a soldier, that don't really work. Tom Brady taking pay cuts is what made it work. Them resalvaging players is what made it work. Calvin Noy, Randy Moss. You know what I'm saying? Corey Dillon, Antoine Smith. You know what I'm saying? They had some good draft picks. I thought Aaron Hernandez was going to be successful before, obviously, what happened. And the only real reason they end up with Rob Gronkowski is simply because he had back injuries. He dropped to the second round. When you talk about the history of New England drafting players, it is not a successful. It's not a successful program. And I'm trying to pull it up on my computer right now to really look at their draft history. But they're not a successful drafting organization, and I'm going to prove that. You know, and it's no disrespect to them. But if you just look at last year's drafts, and obviously it was an irregular year last year, you know, you got a situation. They took Kyle Duggar in the second round. Josh Euclid, he from the University of Michigan. Alfred Jennings. I mean, let's just go back like a minute. Let's go back to 2014, right? Dominic Easley. That's the type guy I was talking about. He took at the end of the draft. He didn't amount to nothing. Jimmy Garoppolo, okay. Brian Stork, James White, Cameron Freeland, John Halipo, Zach Moore, Jamia Thomas, Jeremy Gallen. 2013, Jamie Collins, Aaron Dobbs, receiver, remember him? No. Logan Ryan, solid guy. Deron Herman, okay. Josh Bryce, Malcolm Buchanan. Go back to 2012, Chandler Jones, good. They didn't want to pay him. Dante Hightower, he opted out this year. Tavon Wilson, Jake Burnett, Nate Abner. Alfonso Denard. Anytime some of these dudes get money, they don't want them. We can go a little bit into the future. 2016, Cyrus Jones. Remember, know him? Joe Thoney, the guard. Jacoby Brissett, you know. Vincent Valentine, Michael Mitchell. Come on. Any of these dudes, you notice that's going to be a star. 2017 only had 4 picks. Derek Rivers, Antonio Garcia, Dietrich Weiss Jr., Connor McDermott. You remember any of them? I know Dietrich Weiss from ring a bell. The guard tackle they took, 2018, Isaiah Wynn. He's solid. He only played 18 games. He was drafted in 2018, so I know he has some injuries. Sony Michel, he kind of flaked out. Duke Dawson, Jawan Bentley, Christian Sam, Braxton Bart. Come on, who are these guys? N'Keal Harry, he didn't work out. They took him. I think they took him over the boy from Ole Miss that played in Seattle. What was his name? The big fella. I like him a lot. What's his name? DK Metcalf. I don't know. I forgot his name. Jojuan Williams, Chase Winovich from Michigan. He's pretty solid. Damian Harris. He's solid when he get the ball. Some of these dudes you don't even remember. So they historically haven't done well in the draft. And then when it's time to pay guys like Logan Ryan, Chandler Jones, they don't want to pay nobody. They want everybody to take a pay cut. And they still got one of the highest salary caps in the league. And then, they get guys like Talib, Revis, Ty Lawson. I don't think he started in New England. So they're not good at evaluating talent at all. And I think Tom Brady really put makeup over his team. And they showed a lot of these dudes. Jared Stidham, another one. He didn't really do well. And so these dudes really can't coach. They great coordinators, but they're not great leader men. You got guys like Bob Quinn lead their front office. And he seemed terrible. And it's looking like Tom Brady is way more, responsible for the success in New England than Bill Belichick. And people talking about, well, Vinatieri kicked all them kicks. Well, you got to get in position to kick those kicks. Without a great quarterback, it don't matter how good your defense is. Trent Dilfer had to be somewhat solid, and Brad for the Baltimore, and Brad Johnson had to be somewhat solid for Tampa to win that game. Somewhat solid. Just look at the overall draft. The talent ain't there. Then they don't believe in paying free agents. So to me, it's comical that Tom didn't get credit. It took for Tom to go to Tampa, who had made the playoffs in 17 years or something, like 18 years, something like that, for people to give him credit. People say, well, he's a cheater. Well, it is what it is. He didn't cheat in some of them Super Bowls and they still won. Bill Belichick and them taking practices and games, they ain't had shit to do with Tom. Was Tom there? But then people just don't like Tom. America hate a winner. They love the underdog. I was trying to tell people for years that he was the system over there. And people said, well, point to the Matt House here, they went 11-5, but they made the playoffs. No. But it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think. Check out our NFL playlist, all social media links, description. Want to make a donation? Cash App, CJ Good 313. That's in the description. PayPal link there as well too. Let me know what you think in the comment section. One time for the one time. Goodfellas Sports TV. We gone.